Excuse me. All right, thank you so much. And last but not least, of course, to all of our athletes that are here. We would not have a sports program without students that want to be involved. Thank you for your time, your hard work, and your sacrifice. I think dedicating to something that is bigger than just yourself is a really important thing in life. And so hopefully you guys grew in that area, and I hope you can say that your time this year, you've gotten better not only in the sport or the skill that you are working on, but also in your friendships, your relationships, your character, and in your relationship with the Lord, because that is the most important thing. So great to see all of you here this evening, and I know you're all ready for me to stop talking. So we're going to go ahead and begin. So let me just give you an idea. We've been doing this for a couple years now, but let me give you an idea of what's going to look like as we go throughout our evening. So our order, we're going to start with middle school teams. So we'll have the middle school girls first and the middle school boys. Then we'll have the JV boys basketball, and then we'll take a basketball break. We'll have the varsity cheer team, and then I think they're over there. Wait, are they over there? Somewhere. There they are. Okay. Varsity cheer, and then we'll have varsity girls basketball, and then we'll have varsity boys basketball last. And after all those awards, we do have some conference overall awards for some of our teams. So that is how we will finish it out. So without further ado, we are going to go ahead and get started. All right, so when I call your team's name, you're going to come stand up here, my left, your right. Every athlete's going to get a certificate. Our varsity level teams will get a pin as well in addition to that. But this is for our athletes, if you do want to say something to your coach or whatever after they're done talking, you're free to come get the mic and take that time. Just, be appropriate, please. You can do that at the end of your coach's presentation. All right. So I think that's everything. I got to make sure I write it all down because I always forget. But I think that is it. So we are going to go ahead and have the middle school girls basketball team coming up to my right and Coach McLean.
Well, this is the only season that I coach in, so I want to take a moment and just thank the one who doesn't get thanked enough, and that's Mr. Brondike. Most of you, I think, are generally aware of what we have here with our sports program. We hear all the time. It's not a little thing. It amazes me every time we're in a conference or a meeting that people will bring up the reputation our school has amongst them, amongst their staff, amongst their fans and their families. And I get compliments all the time, and that doesn't happen by accident. Having a sports program like we have, we may not win banners and championships all the time, but what we have here, the character development, the character on and off the court and on and off the field, those things are intentional. And I appreciate very much Coach Brondike and all he does to lead this program. It is a very, very complicated system and competing with all the classes and all the things that have to happen in a school, and he does it with grace, and I'm very, very thankful. And let's give Coach Brondike a hand for his leadership. Real quickly, and then we'll get to the girls. I also want to thank you as families. One of the things we sometimes can take for granted is the importance of parents showing up, especially for middle school games. And when I see parents who are consistently showing up to support their student athlete with love and patience and care and concern, it speaks volumes. It really does. And our hearts are sometimes broken when we don't see those parents consistently showing up. For those of you who showed up and made the effort and the time, and we know it's a huge sacrifice, thank you. Thank you for being a part of our season. Well, it's my privilege to coach the middle school girls. We have three main points we emphasize at the beginning of the year, and that's number one, we want to glorify God. Always we glorify God and lift Him up. Number two, we want to have fun. We want to enjoy the game. If you're not enjoying the game, there's really no point to doing it. And then number three, we want to try to develop our skills and get better at our skills. At the bottom of that pile, we put winning. We strive to win. We play every game to win. But in our priority list, it's at the bottom. And I'm so thankful for the girls that are willing to come out. I have 14 this year, start the season, finished with 13. And these girls, for middle school girls, I had to learn this 10 years ago when I started coaching middle school girls. For middle school girls to walk out on the court and to be on a basketball court in front of everybody and the fans and all the people filling in and other things, there's a lot of emotional pressure there. There's a lot of things besides basketball playing into that. And so every time they come out and willing to give me a season and work hard in practice and on the court, I'm so thankful for each of those young ladies and all that they do. And thank you, girls, for your hard work this year, for being a good team, for being a good example, and for playing such a great spirit. We had a great year. I had a great time. I hope they had a great time. I want to especially thank Mrs. Bagwell. Mrs. Bagwell was our parent who came and consistently kept the book for us. We don't always have somebody consistently do the book, and we were thankful to have her this year traveling with us and taking care of that important responsibility for us. I gave the girls a verse at the beginning of the year from Psalm 121, verses 1 and 2. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. This is one of those songs of degrees that the Israelites would sing to themselves over and over again as they went up to Jerusalem and made that trek and that journey to remind themselves to constantly drill that soundtrack into their mind that we trust in the Lord for our help. And I told the girls, they're young, they're beginning this life that God's blessed them to have. But one thing I can guarantee them is there will come time in their life, sooner, later, it'll happen, where they need help, where they need someone, for whatever reason it may be. And a lot of us will often look to human contacts and human relationships. So I tried to impress upon them the importance of when they're afraid, when they're worried, when they're scared, no matter what life brings to you, your first response should always be to look to the Lord for your help. Go to God first. He's the one that will always be there for you. He's the one who loves you more than any human being can. And girls, I hope you'll take that with you throughout your life, that you look to God first. Let God be your help and lift your eyes up to Him and Him first, and let Him be the help that you need in your life. All right, let's get to our awards. We have 2 awards for middle school basketball for this year. I had 8 seniors playing for me, or seniors, 8th. Okay, let's start again, shall we? 5 8th graders playing for me this year, and I appreciate all of them. They're going to be moving on. 2 of them have been with me for a while, all 3 years, I believe. Playing middle school basketball, and I always enjoy watching them go on and play in varsity. This one young lady, I'm giving her the Hustle Award. The Hustle Award because every time I put her on the court, she gave me 110%. I loved watching her play. She would just wear herself out. And if I needed a player to chase down another player on the team or take the best player out and, kind of diffuse her effectiveness, I would always go to this young lady. And she played with passion, with heart, and gave me everything she had every game that I put her in the game, every time she was on the court. And so I appreciate her very much. So this year's Hustle Award goes to Miss Samantha Rogers. It's difficult to maintain character in the ups and downs of life. So this award is called a Character Award. I call it this year the Character Award. This young lady has been consistently one of the most trustworthy girls on my team. And as a coach, especially a coach of girls, there needs to be someone to be a team captain, a leader, someone that you can look to consistently. This girl, I know I could trust her to be honest. I could always trust her to take care of any responsibility that I gave her. She was always there. Was never really the center or the forefront of our team, but one of the key elements of our team. And throughout this year, she was one of our consistent team captains. And I appreciate her very much. Going to miss her next year, but this year's Character Award goes to Miss Michaela Clark. Well, that concludes our season. Thank you, girls. I appreciate it.
I just wanted to thank Coach for giving us a good season this year and for putting his time and effort into coaching us. We love you. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. I did forget to mention, as I always do, if you do receive an award, then come over here so we can get a picture of our awards receivers after you're done, okay? All right, thank you, middle school girls. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next team this evening, which is middle school boys basketball. So come on up, and both of our coaches will be next.
Good evening. It is a privilege to stand in front of you guys today representing the middle school boys basketball team. This is a special group of boys primarily made up of 8th graders, and so as such, we were able to jump right into the season focusing on extra development beyond just the fundamental skill set. We were able to focus on plays right off the bat. We were able to prepare for teams right off the bat and started really hot, going, I believe, 8-0. And that's because these boys put in work. They put in work during practices. They put in work on the court during a game. Even on the bench, they put in work, cheering on, supporting, being uplifting to their teammates. My name is Coach Olson. Next to me is also Coach Beaumont. We had the privilege of working with these boys this season. We had a great season. We had a great season for a number of reasons. Yes, we did well on the court. Our record shows that we did really well. We fell short in the playoffs, but I'm still very proud of them. We did great because we developed in skills. We had some 6th graders, some 7th graders who had really never touched a basketball before, or certainly haven't played to the level of competition that we were facing. And they excelled. They excelled in ways that was beyond probably what we would have expected when we first saw them at tryouts. And that's because they put in work. They really, truly desired to see themselves improve and to be better teammates and better players, and therefore better young men. And that was really cool to see. I'd like to make some thanks. Big thank you to my wife, Ellen Olson. She's an administrator here. She's working a ton as it is, and to be able to take a break and just watch children, our own children at home while I come out here and put on the basketball shoes and goof around with the boys. I really appreciate that. Big thanks to Coach Brondike as well as the school just for extending that opportunity to me, and big thanks to Coach Beaumont. He and I worked this team together, and it was a privilege and a lot of fun. I improved in ways that I didn't even know that I could improve just by practicing, and that was a big thing, was coming out to practice every single day, putting in the work, 2 full hours of skills development, working on plays, working on communication and teamwork so that we can be better all-around players. A couple other big thank yous I want to make mention of. Mr. K, I'm not going to try to present your last name, but Kurt, big thank you to him. He kept our book the entire season and kept it really well, such that I could go back and reference stats. We can prepare for next games and everything. And that type of quiet consistency is super appreciated, especially by coaches. Really, we can't do our job if you as parents aren't actively involved, whether it's actively involved in just driving your kid to school every day and picking them up at the end of the day, that's huge, or whether it be the nitty-gritty, working on drills and actually playing basketball with them, or helping in other ways, such as keeping the book and the clock. So big thanks to Mr. K on that, as well as Mrs. Kinder, who kept the clock for us for all of our home games. Again, just little things like that where we don't have to worry about who's got what or whatever. That type of teamwork and collaboration was really appreciated. Of course, thank you to all your parents. The fact that you guys would come out, especially for home games, and cheer loudly for our team, support them regardless of the outcome of that game is so hugely appreciated. And I'd like to make one shout out to a particular parent, Mr. Frazier, who became our CHO, our Chief Hype Officer, who helped us out there with our last 5 games and in through the playoffs, and really keeping our boys excited, locked in. We were facing some really good teams, and we played them really, really hard. And that's because of parents like Mr. Frazier and the rest of you who kept our players engaged and excited about playing. We played one team that, quite frankly, we had no business even hanging around with just because of the type of team that they were. And not only did we hang with them, we really got close. And I know you can't hang your hat on a close per se, but against this team, you definitely can. And in fact, I got multiple compliments from players and coaches and parents of the other team that said, you know what, you guys never gave up, and you were by far the best defensive team that we ever played against. And that's huge for us. That's something that we can build on moving forward and something that we're super excited about. Spiritually is a huge concern of ours to make sure that our boys understand the importance of character on and off the court, to understand that even if they're not getting a ton of minutes, that they can still represent Christ, themselves, and the school well. We started every practice with a devotional thought. with a new verse every single week, so technically we didn't really have a team verse per se. But if I had to boil it down to one verse which encapsulates the effort of this team, it would be Psalm 133:1 that says, "Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity." And that was a big focus of ours. There's 12 guys up here that needed to work together as a team consistently. I don't care if you're number 1 or the number 12, we have to work together as a team. We have to encourage one another. We have to play together as a team on and off the court. We have to move the ball around, unselfish play. And that was really important for us to emphasize, especially in middle school when we're driving home these skills and these fundamentals to make sure that these boys get it, so that even if they never touch a basketball again, but they just go into the corporate world or go on to high school and college and beyond, they can be good team players. They can be good teammates in life. That's so important. So I'd like to hand out a couple awards along those lines. The first is called the Unifier Award. You could also call it the Sixth Man Award, quite frankly. But the Unifier Award is for the player that unifies the team, that really encapsulates this verse that we just read, to be able to link the starters and the bench players, to be that glue, whether it be during a competition or during practice, constantly encouraging, uplifting, being vocal. And that's huge for us. It was basically a third coach during practices and games, which is so important to have on a team. And so for the Unifier Award today, I'd like to recognize Henry Hudson. Henry Henson, excuse me. Henson. For our second award today, we have the Quiet Leader Award, and I think once you hear the name, you'll be able to put that together. Quiet Leader Award, quite frankly, is to the player who leads by example, who always is volunteering to do things, always seems to be doing the right thing. And I don't mean the right thing as in making the shot the first time. I mean the right thing in the sense of not causing mischief, not getting into trouble, not distracting the team. Quiet Leader Award from standpoint of being able to lead by example on the court. He happened to be our lead point getter, but that's also just because he found ways to make plays happen. But that didn't mean that he was a selfish player. By no means was he. He moved the ball around. Towards the end of the season, he was drawing up plays for us. And during halftime, he would grab the pen and draw up and say, hey, they're playing a 1-4 box on us, so let's do this. And even just through that, he's a quiet leader. So the Quiet Leader Award today, I'd like to recognize Drew Kinder. Thank you all for your continued support of not just our middle school basketball boys team, but also all of our athletics. It means a ton as a coach to be able to come out to these athletic competitions and to be able to see friendly, smiling, encouraging faces in the crowd. So thank you for all that you do during competition day, but also at home and in between driving and shuttling your kids to and from. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much for everything that you all do. And thank you for entrusting these boys to us. It was a privilege. It was a ton of fun. And I think we had a great season, boys. So let's go get them next year as well. Thank you all. Have a great evening.
I would like to thank Coach Olson and Coach Bo for coaching us this year. It is not easy coaching a team full of middle school boys. But we knew whenever we faced adversity that we could look at them because they are good Christ-like examples.
I also want to thank the coaches for taking time out of their day to come coach us.
All right, thanks to our middle school teams. As they wrap up, we got JV boys coming up next, but I do just want to say really quickly, with our middle school teams, just thank you all for your support. I know at the middle school level, you can just have such a wide range of what the teams are like. You play a team and they have like 4 7-footers out there, and you're like, you're in 8th grade? What in the world? And then you play another team and, they're all up to your knees. So it's kind of hard to get a consistent, amount of competition. But with the way that our conference is set up, it's really based on our varsity teams and who is in our same association. And there's a lot of restrictions as far as size of school and whatnot, size of high school for the high school levels. But when you get down to middle school, they're not really governing as much, and you can have such a huge range. A couple schools in our conference have about 200 kids just in 7th and 8th grade. So you can really get a ton of really tough competition, especially within our conference. And I'm just really proud of our kids for a lot of times, having just to go out there and be strong and do their best against some really solid and really big and competitive teams, and they always do a great job. And thank you to all of our parents who support that and realize that our middle school is for development. And I think both teams did a really great job this year, so I'm proud of you guys. All right, next up we have JV boys, so y'all come on up.
All right. This season was, if you go by just wins and losses, it was not a good season. But thankfully, these boys and the Lord really worked on our hearts to not judge ourselves by that, not judge ourselves by wins and losses. And we ended up having a really enjoyable and a great season that I'm going to remember for a long time. I just want to say thank you to a couple people. I want to thank my wife, Hannah, and my boys for letting me do this. She's not here tonight. She's wrangling them at home, so thank you, Hannah. I want to thank Miss Beamy for keeping the book for us consistently. Thank all the parents for being voluntold to do different positions. We could not go without y'all keeping the gate and doing the clock and everything like that, Lord. So that is just awesome. Mr. Clark, thank you wherever you're at. Senor Clark, thank you for driving the bus a couple times for us. And Mrs. Brigham, where's Mrs. Brigham at? I didn't see her here earlier. Where's she at? Right here, okay. I only got one eye, so wave at me. Mrs. Brigham, thank you for single-handedly keeping my boys alive with the hot dogs and the pretzels at the home games. So thank you for that. For our theme verse, it's really, with JV basketball, it's different than the other sports that we have here. We don't necessarily have our own practice time. We're kind of lumped in with the varsity, so we practice with the varsity and stuff like that. So with our theme verse, it's similar to the varsity, so I don't want to steal Coach Brondyke's thunder, so I'm not going to focus on that verse right now. But another verse that we focused on a lot this year was Proverbs 24:16, which says, "For a just man falleth 7 times, yet riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief." And some of us literally fell a lot. Jackson Shamla. Love you, bud. Some of us literally fell a lot, but I knew going into this season, we had a lot of guys from last year's team that made it to the conference championship that were called up going to varsity and really played big roles on the varsity team this year. So I knew it was going to be a change. And we honestly didn't know if we were going to have a team. So I'm glad that all of these guys came out. And really, if you came to our first game, which we had some medical stuff with my boys, so I actually wasn't at our first game. But if you came to our first game and then came to our last game, it looked like 2 totally different teams. As the year progressed, they continued to grow. They continued to get better. We could actually run offense. And the whole time they played, they continued to learn and played defense really well. We went from not being sure about making contact to, hey, we can actually body the people that are bodying us. A lot of these guys, they beforehand, the most basketball they had was recreation, which is just a totally different animal from rec basketball to school basketball. And they learned a lot this year and worked a lot with the time that we had. Some of my favorite memories, the bus rides. They were, especially the mini bus rides. The mini bus rides were a lot of fun. You would hear some interesting conversations, especially if, again, Jackson was on there. It was definitely quieter when Jackson wasn't there. But the bus rides were awesome. Our homeschool team away game where Omar assured us that we were not in the hood. If you went to that game and you know anything about where that was, it was sketch city. But I also just enjoy these guys' work ethic. A lot of times, if you're going out there and you're losing, you can get discouraged. But they never got discouraged. They kept fighting. They kept getting better. And I'm just really proud of all of them. We have a couple of awards tonight. Just some fun ones to start out. All of these awards were voted on by the players and then Coach Brondike and myself. For team player, this is a player who shows humility, unselfishness, understands and embraces his role. We actually had a tie between Jerry and Omar. For team character, this is a player who always has effort and attitude no matter the circumstances. Ian Clark and Omar was a close second on that one. For my Duke basketball themed awards that I do every year, Mike Krzyzewski Award, the most valuable player. The guys voted on Josh Hemrick for that. Shane Battier, best defensive player. Omar. Brian Zubek Award, most improved player. Anthony and Jackson. Both those guys, all of them grew tremendously, but both Anthony and Jackson, just from beginning to end, just great differences there. Kyrie Irving Award for top shoe game, Chris. Justice Winslow Award for funniest player. We had a tie. We had a bunch of characters on this team. Jackson, Steve, and Omar. The Quinn Cook Award for hardest working player. I think everyone got a vote on that one, so all of them were hard-working guys. I had the guys do some made-up awards, and the ones that I could decipher on those, Handbreaker Award was Anthony. Is it healed yet? Ah, yes. All right, yeah, that was fun. I've had 2 times in the last year where in the middle of the day I find out one of my starters is not going to play because he hurt himself in PE. It was Patrick the year prior in soccer, and then Anthony this year. But I'm glad your hand's better. Biggest smile, Omar. All right. For the awards, I think are right here. Yeah. All right. This first award is the Coaches Award. This guy had to take on a lot of responsibility going from the middle school level to the JV level. Is the pace is faster, the strength is greater, and it's just a totally different beast. And this guy had to pick up a lot of weight, had to lead in a way that he hasn't necessarily had to lead like that before. And this Coaches Award this year, I'm really proud of this guy, goes to Josh Hemrick. This next award is the Team Leader Award. This one was voted on by the boys. Trustworthy, service, responsibility is what characterizes this team leader. This young man, again, I'm proud of all of them, but I'm really proud of this guy because I'm not going to embarrass him here, but he would be honest with you and tell you that he was not our best player last year. He wasn't used to being pushed to the front of having to lead and be our number 1 or our number 2 option, and he did not complain all year. He didn't complain. He really worked on his leadership. He worked on being a positive influence on the guys, and really just trying to get better as a young man, as a godly young man, and as a leader, and I'm really proud of him for it. Our Team Leader Award this year goes to Ian Clark. Thank you. Hopefully that was less than 10 minutes.
So I just want to thank Coach for putting all of his time and effort into us. I know he could be doing so much more, with his time. He has a family, he has kids, and I just want to thank you for that.
All right, thank you, JV boys. As they take their picture over there, we will go to our first of our high school teams, which is our varsity cheer we have up next. So, Coach Husky, one of our two Coach Huskies, come up to the front, and we'll start.
Before we have our varsity players come up, we want to thank one of our biggest fans. He's always come to support us. He has always been there, and we just want to thank him. So if Landon would come on up, we would like to present him something.
Landon, you are such an encouragement to all of us, and you never fail to make us laugh at all, and you always have a smile on your face. And every time I look at you, I just smile. Like, I just can't help but to smile. And you are such a blessing to the people around you. I hope you know that. We love you.
Wow. This is a speech I never thought that I would ever make, a coach's speech. If you would have asked me years ago if I would have ever been in a coach's position, I would have laughed. But God has a sense of humor, and God always knows what's best. And so I am so grateful for the opportunity that God gave me. And just a couple of thank yous before I just share a little bit about our season. Just to thank Coach Brondike for even entertaining the idea when I came and volunteered myself to help with the cheer team this year, and for the parents for entrusting your daughters to me, and just this being my first year, and some of you I have not had a lot of interactions with, and just the encouragement that you gave me did not go unnoticed, and many times was what I needed at those games, and just your smile. I really appreciate that. And then most of all for these girls, for giving me a chance. It's been a pleasure to coach them. And I have learned a lot of both about cheering and about coaching. And thankfully the girls don't get to say anything about that. So this is my turn. They can keep their thoughts to themselves. But just a few quick things. Although that I did not bring coaching experience, cheering experience for that matter, to the girls and to this situation, I did know that cheering provides a very unique platform, a unique opportunity to make a difference on so many levels and in a school situation. Our team verse was Hebrews 13:16, which says, "Do not neglect to do good and to share what you have, for such sacrifices are pleasing to God." And with that in mind, I came up with a theme for our season called Impact. And what that meant was what I wanted the girls to get was to influence, let it be meaningful, let it be powerful, let it be active, let it be caring, and let it be something that they take the time to intentionally do on and off the court. At first had to start, as I told them, with being intentional with the relationship with the Lord. And that's a privilege that I love so much about being at a Christian school, is because we have the privilege to talk about God and to point these girls and to all of our students to what's the most important thing, and that's the relationship with the Lord. And so I told them that in order for us to make an impact, they first had to have a relationship with the Lord, that they were allowing the Lord to impact them. And when that impact takes place, then that turnaround and that impact can then make to themselves. And that was the next phase, was they had to impact each other. And then with that, that would allow them to then impact the teams that they were cheering for, and then other kids in the school. As I reflected over the season, I honestly can say that in my opinion, these girls demonstrated this over and over every week. You may all not have seen all of those moments, but I saw it in practice, during the games, in our group chats, and in our conversations that we got to have that didn't just always happen in practice or the games. They happened in the hallways. They happened at lunch, which I treasured very much. I think that one of the highlights for me was seeing these girls embrace a crazy idea that I had of having 3rd through 5th grade girls be invited to come to cheer practice for one, and it ended up being 2 practices, to learn a halftime routine that they could perform at the family night that we had at the end of January. I was extremely proud of how this group of cheerleaders not only loved the younger girls, but really went beyond just teaching them the technical stuff, which those little girls thought they were the best ever, and they had so much fun. Before we even got to those practices, I had 4 girls that came up to me and said, "We have got to cheer together. We want to show you. Can you use it?" So there's a lot of hope for, as the years go by, for those girls coming up. There's a lot of excitement there. But they went beyond that. They went beyond the technical side of it, and they loved those girls, and they were really a great example. So I really thank them for that. I have 3 recognitions that I want to give out this evening, and these were voted on by the girls, and I would say that they were all very, very close, which to me is a testimony to what they did with each other this summer and this season, and how they impacted one another. And so to me, even if we just stopped right there, I would be forever grateful for what they've learned. For Most Improved, this girl really stepped outside of her comfort zone and embraced everything that we threw at her to accomplish, which was a lot. She always gave 100% and would seek help if she was unsure. I really enjoyed watching her grow over the season, and to see her being very unsure at the first day, and then on the last day just getting out there and just giving her all. And in our voting and stuff, the comments that were said about her were just, she gave everything, and she just constantly came and was asking and never wanted to give up. And that just is a testament to when you push yourself and find out what you're made of, what you can do. And so Most Improved goes to Lorelei. All right, the team leader is leadership, service, responsibility, lead team by example, effort, communication, and encouragement. I can honestly say so many of these girls did this. If you could give an award for all of them, they all deserve this part of this award, because they all demonstrated so many of these attributes so much of the time. And they, from what I saw at the beginning of the season to the end of the season, they all grew in these things, which was my heart's desire, was regardless of how well our cheer came off, or if the crowd liked the cheer, or if they even liked the cheer that they decided to do, that in the end they were better than when they started as individuals. And so this girl that the girls voted on, and I agree with, again, all of these were so very close. Several girls could have gotten this, but this girl was consistently positive, took the lead to help others all the time, a very natural leader, and I have known that for a long time. She's always encouraging to me when I needed it the most, more than she realized. This award goes to Ariel Harrison. The other award, I named it our theme, the Impact Award, and this is, something that's just that little bit extra. And to me, this is how the girls, which again, they all grew in this, and the testimonies that they gave in the thing that I sent out for them to kind of share maybe what things that they had learned, different things. So much of what they said just honestly brought tears to my eyes, just because of the fact that my heart's desire became real to them, as far as they went beyond just cheering, and they realized that being a cheerleader, this is more than just doing silly things at games and screaming, and then at the end of the game saying, "Great, I have no voice and we're singing in a concert tomorrow," and all those different things, or telling me they can't cheer loud because they have a concert tomorrow. And so this just went beyond that. And the team, this Impact Award is, of course, what it meant was influencing others by being meaningful, powerful, active, caring, and giving of her time. And what it looked like was being unselfish, understood her role, embraced everything with time, energy, effort, enthusiasm, and attitude no matter the circumstance, kind words, and cared about everyone during practice and games. And honestly, again, I know I've said this already several times, but all of these girls grew in this area. And just seeing where they started, and then our last day of our last game and everything, I just been so proud of where they have gone. This award represents our theme this season, and this girl was very supportive of me at the beginning of the season, was willing to give me a chance like they all did. I found out later through a conversation that I had with her that she had a moment where she wasn't sure if she was going to like this season because things weren't panning out to be, they were panning out to be different than what she had expected and what she had planned. She worked through this and embraced everything. And we had good conversations about how God was using this season to grow her in ways that she had not expected. I've appreciated getting to know her more this season and what she contributed to the team. This award goes to Olivia Barrows. You're welcome. Of course, we only are allowed to give 3, but as I was thinking about all of these things, there's 2 other things that I would like to say to 2 other girls specifically, because I want to say thank you to them. First is to Alexia for being all in all the time. Your smile is infectious, and from day one, laughing at all of my dumb attempts to help when I knew nothing, but still encouraging me along meant so much to me, more than you know. You're a great motivator. If any of you have noticed, towards the end of the season, our cheers took a slight detour with Alexia in the driver's seat. In our comments, in our little voting and stuff, somebody said that she would be the first to start a cheer battle. And also, I can't remember the other thing, but she came up with her own flavor and flair to cheering that really actually brought a lot of life to our cheer group, and just a lot of fun, especially when we were struggling in some of the games and we were tired and exhausted. She'd start her stuff, and it just, the whole vibe changed. And so I'm very grateful for that. Just tells you a lot about her, and really, honestly, the effect and leadership that you have. Don't forget that. You can make a difference, and it's very catchy, so don't stop. The other girl is Clarissa. If there was an award for the invisible coach, she would get it. And I know we kind of chuckle, and one of the girls said in our voting that the one most likely to be a cheer coach, Clarissa. And I say that out of respect for you, because you just have the mind for stuff like this, and she kept me straight, literally, and really coached me on how I should be doing my job, just because she understood all of that and her background and her experience. Thank you for never treating me like I didn't know anything, even though I didn't. You taught me so much and made me feel that I was doing a good job, even when I thought I let all of you down. So I'm very grateful that I had this opportunity, and I'm grateful that my family kept their laughter under wraps when I told them I was doing this. And if I got a chance, I'd do it again. If Coach Brondick will let me and doesn't find a better replacement. But thank you, parents, so much, and thank you for everything. All right.
Thank you, Ms. Husky, for all the time you put in and pouring into us spiritually and just helping me grow so much. And we're really grateful, and we love you so much.
Thank you to Mrs. Husky, and also thank you to the basketball teams for allowing us to cheer for you guys. We really enjoyed cheering for you this season, and hopefully we'll have another good season next season.
All right, we're going to move on. Thank you so much to your team. Let's go ahead. Hold on, girls that were taking a picture. Make sure you get there's 4 pins right there. Make sure you get one. Okay, we'll move on to our next basketball team, which is the varsity girls basketball team. So y'all come on up along with both of our coaches, Coach Anderson and Coach Husky. Thank you. Hey, take that one. Somebody didn't. make sure they get a pin. And we'll move on to our girls. All right, thank you so much.
Good evening. I'm Coach Husky. That's my mom. But I coach the girls basketball, and this is almost everybody. We're missing one of our players tonight, which was about on par for the season of missing people. But I just want to say a quick thank you to a couple people. Thank you, Coach Anderson, for all your help this year. You filled in for me while I was gone for a couple games and practices, and I really thank you for that. And Mrs. Ensky, too, for coming and helping there, too. Your experience was greatly appreciated, and your energy that you brought was appreciated, too, so thank you. Thank you, parents, for your support of the girls, your snacks that you brought and provided for all the girls, and your encouragement to them. Shout out to the wards for, I think, being at every single game that we had. It was so nice to have some consistent fans there, too, so thank you for that. Thank you, Miss Mimi, for doing the books all season. I know sitting there night after night gets really tiresome, so thank you for spending your time there. And Coach Bronig for letting me coach and for supporting the girls. We have a small team with only 8 players. I wasn't quite sure if we were going to have a varsity team this year. And like I said a few minutes ago, there was a few weeks/games that we actually had everybody at practice and games, between driver's ed and a broken ankle and sprained ankle, busted fingers, who knows what else we had going on. But it was always an adventure. I'm not sure what each day brought was fun, but I think that it was fitting because at the beginning of the season, Coach Anderson and I were trying to figure out what our team theme was going to be. I landed on Ezra 10:4, which states, "Arise, for it is your task. We are with you. Be strong and do it." And our theme motto was to rise up. And as a young and small team, a lot of times there was some tasks that we did not like, i.e. conditioning, because there's only 8 of us. We have to play a lot of minutes. There were times where, with injuries, the girls had to step into roles that they were not prepared to step into because that's not their position. I'm not a big. Like, why do I have to go sub into that area? But they rose up and they went to and they did their task and they did them together. So I'm very thankful for that. One of the things, if you noticed from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, they grew so much. One of the key characteristics, I think, is that they were very unselfish, almost to the point of we were literally begging them, please shoot the ball. Like, it's never going to go in if you don't actually shoot it. And that is a testament of they really cared about each other, too, of wanting to share and not be selfish. And so I appreciate that. I'm going to go through each of them real quick and just say a short note. Gretchen, who is one of our seniors and captains, she's not here tonight, but I'll just say a quick thing about her is that she's quiet, a quiet leader. She has high standards of herself. She was our point guard this year, and she facilitated a lot of our plays, a lot of our offense and defense, and just kind of helped control the game that way. Skylar, she loves basketball. Skylar loves basketball, and so it's fun to have somebody who also loves basketball playing. And she was she was defensively steady. Our defense relied a lot on Skylar. She played the back of our defense a lot of times and could help communicate to her teammates and help step up and when she wasn't in there, it was kind of like, oh no, what do we do? So Skylar was steady in that way. And she was always ready to deal with other teams if they messed with her teammates. And so thank you for that. Thank you for not actually punching anybody. So Serenity, I think of her, and I wrote growth and a thinker, an idea maker. She would say, hey, coach. She would send me an email. I think we need to, and she would list some things that we needed to work on, and I was like, well, those were all the notes that I wrote down from last week, too. So she was really thinking about how to improve herself, how to improve her teammates, and I really appreciate that about you. Eva was new to the team this year and to the school, and she was very timid at first, but yet I knew she loved basketball because before the season started, she said, Coach, can I go shoot in the gym? And I was like, no one's ever asked me that before. I will ask. And she has really high standards for herself, too. And she loves defense, and it showed when she was playing, and she really grew to, I think, love offense too, hopefully, a little bit. Michaela, very aggressive, a hard worker. Such improvement from the beginning of the season to now, kind of similarly to JV basketball. We had several people that have played recreational, and when you jump from recreational plays to a varsity level, there's a really big jump, and sometimes it's hard to make that leap. And so Michaela worked so hard. She put in the work probably every single day outside of practice and maybe after practice when she got home, and so I thank you for that. It really showed, especially at the end of the season in our last game. I was like, Michaela, I need you to go do this, and she was able to just go and did exactly what I needed. It was great, so thank you. Bailey is our encouraging energizer bunny. She grew so much too as being a freshman. I'm just really proud of you, and thank you for playing, by the way. There was on the fence there at the beginning, but thank you for that. Claire there's so much potential there. She was our main scorer. She's very quiet, but she likes to make sound effects, as we noticed at the end of the season. She started being quite hilarious, or we got to see that side of her, and so that was fun to see her kind of come out of her shell and work with the girls that way. Diana is very athletic, defense, and she cares a lot about her teammates and deeply about things, and just seeing her care for her teammates when she was able to be there was great. I have a couple funny awards that the girls voted on before I hand out our team awards. Most likely to foul was Skylar, with a smiley face next to the vote. Most likely to throw a crazy shot and still make it was Claire. Most likely to make a noise on the court, Claire. There was some squeaking and like, woo! It was funny. Most likely to fall mid-game was Michaela. At the beginning of the season, she goes, Coach, how many times do you think I can fall today? I was like, that's not the goal. Like, let's try not to fall. Most likely to start a fight with a teammate before the game, Skylar. It's glad I didn't know about that one, but the most bendy player on the team was Gretchen. Most likely to run more for fun after already of running was Bailey and Eva. Most likely to foul out was Skylar and Eva. Most likely to take pictures of your feet, Diana. Most likely to lose her monkey at the Anchorage Serenity. I don't know what that one means, but okay. Most likely to sing during practice or a game, Gretchen and Eva. And somebody else said most likely to make a no-look shot was Claire. And so those were the funny awards. So also I have a note about Rumpelstiltskin for Bailey. So inside joke about jump roping, and she knows what I mean. Anyways, I'm just so proud of them and their growth this year throughout the season. And our manager, Lauren, she is our team mom unofficially. She would often buy them snacks and Gatorades because we would always forget our water bottles. And if days before a game, I'm like, Coach, I don't have water. We're playing basketball. What do you mean you don't have water? So she would take care of them and provide things for that. So I thank you for that. Even today, she said, Coach, do you need any help for tonight? I was like, just come enjoy. So thank you for your service and to your teammates. Our last game of the season, if you were there at the beginning of the season, sometimes it didn't quite look like basketball was happening on the court. To our last game, it was their best game of basketball they played. We gave the other team a run for our money until we had nothing left to give, and I am so proud of them. And they really fulfill our team motto to rise up to the task and to do it, and I'm really proud of you guys for that. So thank you for a great season. Our team awards that they voted on the first one is our most improved. Honestly, I could give this to all 8 of them, and if I had a team award to do that, I would. But this most improved was recognized by her teammates almost by a landslide, even though it was very close with all of them. And it was for the teammate that started the season and really grew both mentally. Basketball at the high school level is hard when you're playing against seniors that have been playing together for 4 years with a team that's been playing together for a month, to really at the end shooting the basketball, taking the initiative on things like that, and I'm really proud of them. So our most improved for the season is Eva Reeves. Our Team Leader Award is representing leadership, service, responsibility, led by example, effort, communicated to her teammates, and was encouraging to them. This was also voted for by her teammates, and she's one of our captains. And so our Team Leader Award goes to Skylar Beaumont. And our last award is our Rise Up Award, and it was for putting the team first, unselfish, understanding her role and embracing it, energy, effort, athletically did her best, and it was also more of a quiet leader award and leading the team in ways that didn't always show up, whether in stats or things like that. And She's also one of our captains. Unfortunately, she's not here tonight, but that is Gretchen Murray. So, yeah, Gretchen. Thank you.
I just want to say a quick thank you to both Coach Husky and Coach Anderson for all that they've done for our team this year. We were a completely different team than we were at the beginning, than we were at the end. And it's just amazing seeing how much they helped us grow spiritually and as basketball players and as a team. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much, varsity girls. We've got one team left, so varsity boys, come on up, and we'll wrap it up for this evening. All right, got to get my notes so I don't talk too much. But thanks everybody for hanging in there this evening. I do not have pins for you guys. I'm sorry. It's not my fault, but I don't want to get into it. But anyway, I will get you your pins. It's one of those things where like you don't think anybody cares about, like, okay, it's a basketball pin, thank you. But if I don't get them a pin, I will hear about it later. So I promise you, you will get your basketball pin whenever I get them, which hopefully will be next week. All right, so let's just start with some thank yous. As the coach of the varsity boys, Coach Sellers, first of all, my assistant coach, JV coach, kind of honestly like co-coach. We do everything together during the season, and we have a blast, so appreciate him a lot. Miss Beamy, thank you for taking a picture of me as I was saying that. Thank you for taking pictures tonight, and thank you for doing our books all year and all the late evenings you endured for us. Miss Husky also kept our stats, so thank you for doing that. Mr. Husky, it was like a team affair here. Okay, Mr. Husky kept our books for every, wait, no, just kidding, the clock. It's been a long day. Kept the clock for all of our home games, which can be very stressful, and nobody realizes it until you mess up. So everybody thinks, negatively of the clock manager. So thank you for enduring that. You did a great job. And also to our cheer team as our support for every game. You guys were definitely loud, if not anything else. So thank you. And also to our pep band for being at our home games, Miss Walston, getting that set up. And we appreciate all the support and just very thankful for all of you. And of course to our families. I know that all the guys up here are very thankful for their parents at all times, no matter what is happening. So we do thank you for your support and just for helping make our season great, for doing the gate, and for helping out with whatever happens, making sure that they make it to school every day and have their uniforms, which they probably would say that you don't do, but I know that you help them with that. So thank you for keeping them straight and for a great year. So on our team here, we have 10 mighty men here. We have one ninth grader, Josh Hemrick. He was voted by his teammates to be the most likely to lose to Adam in 1v1. I don't know if that seems interesting. All right, we had 3 10th graders. Ian Clark, the most likely to fall asleep during film. We had Patrick Keller, most likely to end up on the floor by literally any means possible. We had Josh Woodard, I will say the most perspirant player, as voted by his teammates, which I will say means that he is very healthy. And also, it's the first time I think that Michael hasn't won that award, so congrats, Josh. You did it, man. Okay, 11th grade, we had 2 guys in 11th grade. Eugene, the most likely to land on his back trying to get a rebound. That was a scary moment of practice. I thought that he died for a couple seconds. And also Hunter, the most likely to eat everyone's food at the Anchorage. He is definitely a food thief. Then we had four seniors, Isaiah, Michael, Adam, and Liam. If we can just give our seniors a quick round of applause. All right, they know that I like them. We already had senior night, so I don't have to say anything else nice about them. We have Isaiah, first of all, voted as the least likely to talk. I know that's shocking to everyone. Then our other three seniors were our three captains. Very thankful for our captain group. The way that we did captains this year was that I made them have to give a presentation in front of the team about why they wanted to be captains, and then everybody had to vote on it. So all three of these guys showed initiative, stepping up, wanting to be leaders to their team. And we also had meetings before practices to talk about, what they need to work on, how can we develop those leadership skills in their lives, and they were just all great. I really like each of them and thankful for their leadership. So Michael, first of all, the most likely to get injured, unfortunately. Your mom actually said most dramatic injury, so it was full of drama. But anyway, we're glad Michael came back from his ankle injury. We have Adam, the highest 1v1 losing streak. They know what that means. That's unfortunate for him. And then also we have Liam Willis as the most likely to start bleeding at some point during the game. It was like clockwork. Every game in the second half, take my knee or something was bleeding. So anyway, that is our team. So moving on here, our theme for this year was "For Us," was our motto. It came from Matthew 12:30, which says, "Whoever is not with me is against me, and whoever does not gather with me scatters." These are the words of Christ to the people around him. He's urging everyone that was listening to his preaching that they needed to fully follow him. He's emphasizing the fact that if we are only partially committed to Christ, we actually work against him. And as a follower of Christ, it's either all or nothing. We cannot be partially committed in our spiritual walks with Christ. And that is what we emphasized this year for our players, that we wanted everyone to be fully bought in, because if you weren't, then you were going to hold people back, and we were not going to reach our potential and our goals if everyone wasn't 100% trusting in each other, 100% humble and willing to put their teammates first, and willing to give 100% in all that they did. And if you got a chance to watch these guys play this year, they truly were a team. I received so many compliments from random people, our fans a lot, that you guys enjoyed watching them play. Opposing fans, which is very rare. Opposing coaches, we had an opposing AD come into our locker room after one game and asked to talk to them because he was so impressed by them. But everyone always complimented on their hard work and how exceptional their teamwork was. And I think nothing shows this better than our defense. We held our opponents this year to an average of only 46.9 points per game, which is statistically the best defense that I have ever coached at Friendship. And so congratulations, they definitely deserve it. I mean, it's only 8 years. I'm acting like I've been coaching for 50 years. But in 8 years, it is the best defense that I have coached at the varsity level. So they truly deserve that. And this is just a true team. I love talking about them. I love hanging out with them. Some of the best times of my semester have just been with them, laughing, joking around, but also working hard. And I just really appreciate them. So to summarize our season, we started the season by winning the Anchorage Tip-Off Tournament Championship. We finished our season with a record of 16-9, which is a lot of wins. There's only been one team that's won more games than that in the last 20 years here at Friendship. So a lot of wins. We were 8-2 in conference, and we were 1 point shy of winning a conference championship for the regular season. So while that stings, and it is definitely going to live there in our brainiums for a long time, a second place finish for our conference was the highest that we've had since we've joined our new association. We've had a lot of competition, a lot of really good teams. So that was definitely not quite our goal that we wanted to reach, but they accomplished so many other things besides that. I'm just really proud of them, and I like talking about them, so I got to write things down so I don't just blabber on forever. But I told them this after the last game we played, but I'll just tell them again in front of everybody publicly, but it's probably the most fun I've had coaching a team since I've been here. They trusted me and Coach Sellers. They trusted one another. There was humility. There was no selfishness on the court. There was a ton of effort, and there was a lot of laughs and crazy times. So just very thankful for my time with them and allowing me to be their coach. They didn't have a choice, but I'm glad that it was a great time together this season. So we had a few awards that I don't have awards for that they voted for, so I'm quickly just going to say those for you. These were voted by the team members. So the most valuable player was Eugene. The best defensive player was Eugene. The most improved player was a tie between Mike and Adam. The best scorer went to Hunter. The best passer was a tie between Liam and Josh Woodard. The highest basketball IQ was Liam. The sharpshooter was Hunter. The top shoe game was Hunter and also Michael. The best handles was Hunter. Best rebounder is Eugene. And the funniest player was actually unanimously Patrick. And also the hardest working player was Patrick as well. So I have some stats that I'll talk about later when we get to our individual stuff, but we'll just move on with our team awards here. I have 3 that I'm going to give. These were, like every coach says, it was hard to choose only 3 guys. I mean, I only have 10 people, so 30% of them are getting an award. But they all deserve some recognition for sure, but I had to narrow it down to 3. So our first award for today is for the team player, which is somebody who is team first, unselfish, and then just embraces whatever basically I want them to do. And they will just do whatever is necessary for the team. Now, like I said, this was a team full of guys that played like that. And believe me, it's not always like that. There have been very many years where I've been pulling my hair out because nobody wants to listen. But that was not how the team was this year. Actually, in the voting, which we do for this as well, for players and coaches, all of us vote on these. Every single player up there received at least 1 vote for this award. So, it was very close, but there was one player that got a couple more awards, or a couple more votes than everybody else. I received so many compliments on this player, not only from people that watched us that wanted us to win, but people who watched us who wanted us to lose. But his style of play is just awesome. He plays the right way. He's a great passer, great decision maker, and he's just ultimately a team guy. He went through a little bit of struggle this year and was getting down on himself and hard on himself, and that was just because he didn't want to let his teammates down. He didn't want to let his coach down. And it's interesting because at the beginning of the season, I made them all choose their one word, which was supposed to be something that they wanted to characterize how they play. And if you see this person, what is the one word that pops into your brain? And this player, I don't think it's any coincidence that they chose the word selflessness, because that really characterized him. So our team player award goes to Josh Woodard. Okay, our next award here is our Team Character Award. This goes to a player who, no matter the circumstance, shows energy, effort, enthusiasm, and great attitude. And if anything characterizes this guy, it is energy and effort and enthusiasm. In fact, he might have more of those qualities than literally anyone that's on earth. His passion in everything he does is not only fun to watch, but it is inspirational for his teammates. I even had a ref come up to me. It was kind of weird, but at a free throw, he came up to me and he tapped me on the shoulder, and I was like, oh no. But he said, "Who's that kid over there?" And he was like, "I love that kid. I love watching him play. He's all out." And I was like, "Yeah, you have no idea." But all of these guys up here played really hard. I think that was one of the best things about them. But he stood out in his consistency, and no matter the circumstance, you knew that he was going to give it all he's got. And so that for that reason, the Team Character Award goes to Patrick Keller. Okay, and our last award here for our team awards, we have the Team Leader Award. This is someone who, of course, shows leadership, service, and responsibility. And I think this could have gone to any of our captains. I think all three of them did a great job, Adam, Michael, and Liam. One of them got more votes, so that's what we were going by to kind of split the tie in order to give an award. But I do want to say, Michael, Adam, Liam, appreciate all of you, and you mean a lot to me. Thank you for your leadership this year. So anyway, back to my notes. But this player stood out. He had a very large role on our team. He carried a really heavy load, but he was just very consistent. And I think as leaders, being consistent is really important. Not having your attitude and whatever determined by how you're feeling or how you're playing or whether you like the other team or whether you're getting the calls you want or not. A leader will just be consistent, and that is who he was. And he also grew a lot this year, especially in his response to mistakes and bad calls from the ref in his mind. We definitely worked on that as we went through the season, and he grew so much in that area. And I think a lot of it was because he knew his teammates were looking to him for his leadership. So our team leader this year goes to Liam Willis. Okay, that will do it for the varsity boys. Again, thanks, guys. Loved it. Already missed practice for the most part. So anyway, thank you. Appreciate it.
I just want to thank Coach Sellers and Coach Brondike for all they do for us and helping us have a great season. And I want to thank Coach Sellers for not making us do the Just Man drill.
Okay, thank you so much. And I promise we are almost done here this evening. I know that we've been here for a while, but we do want to make sure that we recognize all the athletes that have put so much time and effort into this. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to recognize our varsity players that were selected to our Raleigh Area Athletic Conference all-conference teams. So this recognition goes to the top players in our conference, only of the varsity teams, and only 8 players from the entire conference are selected to these teams. So it is definitely for basketball a very small team and a high honor for these players. So all conference players will receive a medallion and a certificate, and we also have some honorable mentions that we will recognize as well. So we're going to start with the varsity girls, and then we'll do varsity boys. Same thing as before. If you get an award, come stand over here until we're done with everybody. So Coach Husky, why don't you come up here for our varsity girls all-conference players.
Okay. I just had one girl this year that was on our all-conference team that was voted. It was very close. The meeting that we had, we were voting back and forth between all the different players from the schools. And when we were talking stats-wise, all the girls from the different schools' stats were very, very close. And we would go through and we would vote, and this player kept getting passed, and I was like, she has better stats and better play. So it was kind of like, well, I can't vote for my own player, though, so that was the frustrating part. But as we were going through the top stats, she averaged 7 to 8 points a game, 4 to 5 rebounds, which for girls basketball is pretty good, and had several assists as well that she would average per game. And she was voted honorable mention. She got, the last spot got filled, and it was really close tie toward the end of the voting. And that was Gretchen Murray, but she's also not here tonight. So, yay, Gretchen, but thank you.
Okay, and we have 3 boys from the varsity basketball team for the boys. First of all, we have one honorable mention. I really think this guy deserved it, but same thing. It's just votes based, but he was one spot shy. He finished as the 9th place. So anyway, I think very highly of him, but he tied with the team high, 13 points per game. He averaged 11.2 rebounds per game, which was number 1 in the state for 2A. He averaged 2 blocks per game, which was the best in our conference. And he also had 13 double-doubles, which again was number 1 in the state. Those 13 double-doubles were also a school record, and the 11.2 rebounds per game were a school record as well. So first of all, honorable mention for all conference is Eugene Amati. Okay, then we have 2 players that made the all-conference team, so they'll get a certificate and a medallion here. This first player in conference averaged 16 points per game, 2 assists and 2 steals. Just in our conference, this kid is a shooter, if you've ever met a shooter in your life. But in our conference games, he shot 49% from 3, which that is good from 2. So, or free throws for some people, but he's a lights-out shooter. He set a school record for free throw percentage, 81%, and he also made a school record 55 three-pointers this season. So our next all-conference player, or our first all-conference player, goes to Hunter Peed. All right, and then our second all-conference player this year, he averaged 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. Literally did everything, including playing defense on the other team's best player. A great defender, took a lot of ball handling responsibilities and played almost every minute of every single game. He also had a couple school records this year. 3.2 assists per game was a tie for a school record. And number 2 in our school history with steals, same with 3.2 steals per game. Great season from this guy, one of our captains, Liam Willis. Okay, thank you so much. So that will do it for tonight. Appreciate all of you being here. Last thing before we go, if you are on the varsity teams, so varsity cheer, varsity boys, varsity girls, and this was your first time on a varsity team, okay, first year, first time ever, meet me down here because I have a varsity letter for you. So please make sure you get that, anybody's first time being on any varsity team. Okay, anyway, thank you for coming. We have refreshments and food and drinks out there for you. Thanks to everyone who made it look great out there. Please take your time, enjoy fellowship together. Thank you once again, everyone, for being here. Let's have a word of prayer, and when I'm done, you can be dismissed. God, thank you for your many blessings. We thank you for allowing us to be here to honor our athletes and our coaches, and just to thank you for the opportunity to be at this school and to represent you through our athletics. I pray that you would bless our weekends and be with all of our families and our students here. I pray that each day we would do all that we can to grow closer to you, and that you would continue to use our school and our athletics program to grow young people closer to you. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you. Have a great weekend.